Coming up on the CHGO Cubs podcast, Bregman's rumored price continues to rise. We make our New Year's resolution for the Cubs, and also we celebrate the anniversary of a trade for a certain guy. I don't know, maybe his name is Anthony Rizzo. It's the CHGO Cubs podcast presented by Toyota, and it's happening right and now. Hey, Chicago, what do you say? It's the CHGO Cubs podcast on a Tuesday presented by Toyota. Let's go places. What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Joey Christopoulos, Justin Roman, Sarah on the ones and twos. Give it to me, Sarah.
Go Cubs.
Yes. And also returning, he's got 2 days in a row. He's stacking them, ladies and gentlemen. He's almost back to full strength. It is Luke Stuckmeyer himself. What's up, Luke?
Hey, you know what? Yesterday, you guys sent the care package, and I said, listen, you know how to get me back to health. It's vitamin C with fruit, but it's covered in chocolate. I feel like I have turned a corner. I'm not saying I'm healthy, but I feel like I've turned a corner. But what I didn't notice in the package before I'd open it was there were also 3 cupcakes. And I don't think there's any question that I've had 2 of the 3. And that is what has vaulted me back. It's like my body was just like, there you are, old fella. There you are, Sparky.
You know, internally, we were talking about like what to do for you. We felt bad about everything. And we're like, should we send them a couple rally cakes from Portillo's? And we're like, probably not the best idea coming off of being so sick. So we went to more of the fruit route, but we had to put a little chocolate on there and sneak you a couple
I didn't
cupcakes.
know that.
You know, Dr. Joey says some hot peppers and jardinera usually just gets the fever right out.
No, I'm not that Chicago. I have the accent, but no jardinera for this guy.
Ever?
Soft
Really?
stomach. No.
Okay, fun
I don't
fact.
like peppers. I don't like pickles. I hate green peppers.
So I love jardinera. I was not aware of that. It really is kind of like a Midwestern, maybe even Chicago thing.
Oh, yeah.
When I went to Boston a long time ago, I went to a Subway, and I love jardinera on my Subway sandwiches here. So I went to Boston. I'm like, okay, I'll do this. I'll have jardinera. And they go, what? I'm like, yeah, I'll do. They didn't know what I was talking about. They definitely didn't have it. So at that point, I realized more of a Chicago regional thing than I thought.
Also more of a Chicago regional thing. My wife is from Pittsburgh. She's 100% Italian.
Okay.
Her whole side of the family, they speak Italian. Manja, all that stuff. And I was like, man, I love mostaccioli. And they looked at me like I was an American psycho. They're like, they don't have that on the East Coast, or that's not really part of the Italian culture. That's some sort of regional Midwest dish, mostaccioli. And who hasn't had a mostaccioli at a potluck before? You know what I mean?
Mostaccioli is like solid Italian. When we went to Italy on vacation, I realized that a chicken parm's not really an authentic Italian dinner necessarily.
But it's good.
Either.
But it's very good.
It's my favorite Italian dinner, but when I ordered chicken, I was looking for chicken parm on the menus. I wasn't finding it.
Yes, I will have the Hot Pockets, please. Pepperoni. Thank you very much. Luke, man, great to have you back. We're smiling a little bit through the pain and the frustration of just another day passes by. Nothing going on with the Chicago Cubs. But we do want to take the temp on a certain player that's been on our radar for quite some time. So let's take the temp right now with our Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Go to fourseasonsheatingplumbing.com and check out all their money-saving offers and coupons as well. Luke, man, we'll open it up to you. You know, you see reports. These are all rumored reports, right? But sometimes these reports can also mean what the agent wants or what the player is looking for.
Yeah.
I now see numbers possibly up to $171 million with Alex Bregman. Supposedly there's an offer on the table with the Boston Red Sox. This feels imminent to me. The Bregman thing feels like it's going to be resolved soon. What is your take on just like kind of the rumors that float around? Like, how do you read the tea leaves? How do you perceive this number going out there? Because it seems to be the number that he wants. And is it the number that he's going to get? And then we can get to whether it's even going to be the Cubs at all.
Yeah. I mean, yesterday we kind of touched on the fact that I believe Bregman has to probably be the first domino to fall in order for the Cubs to make other decisions. So if he's not coming here, it has to happen, and then I think other things will happen. As far as like when we see reports, from years of doing that, I would just say this: some reporters are more willing to make that relationship work with a general manager or an agent, and they're willing to be an arm, if you will, for starting discussions, even though they might know that this guy might be using me, but he's going to give me the story when he signs, right? And then there's others that draw a different line for it and aren't as comfortable with it. And some agents and GMs will match up with other reporters, and there's just relationships that are better. I believe Bob is a guy who is willing to do both sides of it sometimes. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I just think he's willing to do both sides of it. That doesn't mean that the Cubs aren't checking in. I believe what he's saying is factual, that the Cubs are checking in on Alex Bregman. I think they're checking in on Bo Bichette. How serious are they? I just don't know, because they already have an option that's cheaper, and nothing they've done so far this offseason has shown us that they're willing to dive into the deep end of the Bregman waters. Like when you're saying 170, let's just say that's the number. They seemed fairly uncomfortable with going out and getting Dansby Swanson at a younger age at a more premium position. Are they going to be willing to do that for Bregman? Like, when they might have a guy that could end up giving you similar type numbers at a way cheaper price. I also read yesterday, the Cubs are rethinking their infield. Sure, I hope they are. I hope they're thinking about options for it, but I still think Bregman will end up in Boston. I really do.
Yeah,
Is that how you feel? Like,
right?
if you had to put it at a percentage, I think it's less than 50%. I know they've been interested 2 years in a row, but they're interested in him at the very right price. And that's after seeing that Matt Shaw had the potential in the second half of the season, right? Like, going into last year, they had no idea how it was going to play out.
Right. And I think you're right about Bregman being the first domino to fall, because I can't see a situation where Bo Bichette, for sure, Suarez signing until Bregman already does, because, it's all about leverage, all about negotiations. It does sound like Bregman is definitely, I would say Boston's the favorite for sure. All I'll say is that, there have been surprises along the way. Just because a reporter leaks something doesn't mean it's a certainty. No one saw Amai going to Houston. I'd argue last year no one saw Tucker coming to the Cubs. I don't think sometimes sometimes there's tea leaves, sometimes there's not. But it does feel like Bregman in Boston seems like it is getting closer, right?
Yeah, and we haven't really heard anything from the Diamondbacks recently. Let's get a Toyota Super Chat in here with at Small Ball Queen. Thanks for coming in. I don't know if you're new to the chat or not, but great to see you here. Bregman just using us as a bargaining chip again. Yeah, I mean that's possible, right? And when you talk about these reports, I'm with you, Luke, where sometimes the reporter reporting the news could be doing it for his own benefit because he's getting clicks and views, and I'm connected and I'm in. He could be doing it for the agent. I also said that maybe he's just trying to do it. Maybe he's also rationalized it by saying, like, this is good for baseball that I'm starting to report this stuff to kind of put some pressure on these teams, because I'm sitting here, and what's also frustrating me and starting to get me a little worried is we've had the discussion of, well, maybe the Cubs are just waiting until the 11th hour. And look what that did when they were able to get Cody Bellinger at the 11th hour. They were able to get him at their price. Wow, that really worked out for the Chicago Cubs. And if they just keep sitting around, and Justin, we talked about this last week of, I just wish that they had a little bit more conviction about the players that they wanted and were interested in. And you said it yesterday, Luke, if you're interested in a player, just go out and get him. Don't just sit around here and wait, because I'll tell you, if they think that the 11th hour they're going to get lucky on some player or some deal, I would tell you right now, guess who else is sitting out there that you said yesterday? The Dodgers haven't done anything in the offseason. I bet you they're sitting there until the 11th hour, and then they're just going to look and they're just going to say, no matter who it is, we can go out and get them. We can beat anyone on high AAV on a 1-year deal. And the Mets are sitting out there too as well. So it's not just the Cubs that are waiting for these deals to shake loose, like for Amazon Prime Day to kick in. And all of a sudden, you know what I mean? They can get the guy at their price. You know, I'm just starting to get a little worried that, yeah, they're going to get caught holding the bag a little bit, and it's going to be all excuses, and it's going to be these prices are insane and we didn't see this coming or whatever. And it's the same story that we probably heard around the trade deadline.
I got a question for you guys just about it. Okay, pretend you're a professional athlete. And I'm just curious if okay, Justin, you made it to the major league level, you're a pitcher, and you're ready for your first big contract, and you're ready to sign a contract, right? Is Boras your guy? Because a lot of these guys I know a lot of people want to blame Scott Boras for dragging this out. And maybe some of the time, some of his clients may look at it and say, well, holding out didn't work as well as I thought it was going to. Right. But boy, he's made some people a lot of money at the same time, right? Is he the agent you would want? I saw on Twitter yesterday, a guy I used to know, Jabba Chamberlain, who used to pitch for the Yankees. Remember the reliever? He had the gnats all over his face. Was a really good reliever. Yeah. And he was talking about somebody was mentioning, I believe, Bellinger and how that was going to work out with the Yankees. And he was just like, yeah, my dad, meaning his father, cut the meeting short with Boras like halfway through it when he was looking for agents. That just wasn't a mix for what they wanted. Would you be interested in Boras as your agent? Would he be the guy if you thought you were that good? Or would you look for somebody like, does the personality have to mix? And by the way, then I'll tell you how I found out Jabba Chamberlain was a major leaguer, because that's a great story.
Okay. Great question. I mean, obviously Scott Boras, his track record speaks for itself. I don't like him personally. I hate the press conferences at the winter meetings, and he's got the logo backdrop, and he's got all these like weird poems, and it's like, dude, like, you're not the star. Like, you're representing this, like any agent who wants to be the star, like you're not it. Like you should want your talent to be the star, right? I feel like he's very self-serving. That being said, I mean, he makes a lot of money for his clients, but what was it? 2 off seasons ago, I want to say, I think it was, where his big four really didn't really didn't get the contracts, that it kind of backfired on him, right? So, and then you saw, I think it was it Jordan Montgomery, he fired him, right? I mean, like I think he does rub some people the wrong way. So personally, my bottom line is not money. I think it has to be fit, has to be personality. I got to be able to trust you. So like me, okay, like I'm going to be a millionaire no matter what, because I have this left arm with a crazy curveball. I'm going with an agent that I can trust, that I like, that I vibe with, over the guy who maybe will get me a few $1 million more, but is a POS, So I know I would not go with Scott Boras, even though he is the biggest, baddest agent. I would go for somebody also that I feel cares about me, not just dollar signs, personally.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you, Justin. I would try and find someone else for a couple of reasons. The first one is, I think when you get in business with Scott Boras, you were complicit in. You were saying to yourself, I want you to go out and just get me the best deal. I want you to go out and get me the best money possible. When I'm with you, that I think there's a lot of other factors that are involved. And as a player and as someone that has my own agency, I would like to have the opportunity to say, well, if it's Chicago that I want to live in, because I've always wanted to live in Chicago, and they are offering me $20 million less, I should be allowed to take that deal. I feel like maybe players would have the pressure from Scott Boras himself to not take the highest end deal, because that's what I'm all about, and that's my reputation. And also, to your point, is at the point now where he's been doing it for so long that eventually some of these other guys, some of these other owners and stuff, just won't even deal with him.
Right. He's turning people off.
If you're a player and you walk in and your geography is already kind of shaved off and cornered off because my agent simply can't talk to some of these other teams, I get it that money's what it's all about. I do want to get the best deal, but I should expect my agent to already do that for me and provide me the options of what would be best for my family, my situation, the clubhouse, the structure, who my bosses are, all that other kinds of stuff. So, I mean, the Scott Boras shtick, if you will, I don't want to say it's wearing thin, because he makes tons of money for all of his clients. But at the same time, you are kind of entering into agreement that I don't think gives you as much player freedom as it is like a partnership with this agent where you do have to kind of go along a little bit with what he says at the end of the day. I mean, Tetsuya Amai, I think at the end of the day, I think Boras said, this is the best deal. This is the most money. Just trust me. And I think Amai, because he's never lived in the U.S. before, just said, all right, well, I guess I'm going to Houston, right? And I'm going to trust this guy to get me out of the deal after 1 year and get me some more money. We got to take a break, Luke. On the other side of the break, I want to hear your Jabba Chamberlain story. We're going to continue this conversation, but we got to take a break to talk about some of our wonderful partners here at the CHGO Cubs podcast presented by Toyota. We will be right back.
Here's a question for you. What if you could have reliable and intelligent Wi-Fi? And what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Imagine Wi-Fi that makes everything in your home work together, that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. That lets you stream the game even while the whole family is online and all your devices are working in perfect harmony for 5 whole years. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and Xfinity's best equipment is included. Take it from me. A lot can change in 5 years. Championships are won. Records are broken. Dreams grow bigger. But your Wi-Fi, it should just stay reliable. And the same price should stay put. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities with Xfinity. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Select plans only. Restrictions apply.
And hey, sports fans, I got a little confession to make. I just turned 42 years old over the last weekend. And look, I know on the outside and up here, I'm running like a Lamborghini, okay? But inside, all right, you got to make sure that everything is at its peak because whether you know it or not, stuff changes as you get a little bit older, and that's why I went to Game Day Men's Health. And whether it's peak performance or becoming a better father, better husband, better man, better podcaster, or dog father, Game Day Men's Health wants to support every man's health journey through personalized care tailored to your goals. It's a quick and easy process. They came in here to the office. They were super nice. It only took an hour to get my blood work done, and I got results a couple of days later. They got personal care and family local-owned clinics all over the Chicagoland area. They have an extremely high success rate. So feel better, whether it's more energy, testosterone, vitamin supplements, weight loss, hair loss treatments, whatever it is, start your best life with Game Day Men's Health. Scan the QR code or go on the screen right now or go to GameDayCHGO.com to find locations that are closest to you for Game Day Men's Health. Coming back on the CHGO Cubs podcast presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Joey Christopoulos, Justin Roman, Luke Stuckmeyer, Sarah on the ones and twos. Before we get back to you, Luke, really quick, we got to talk about something very, very important. There's 2 things going on right now, one in the city and one here at the beautiful company that is CHGO. One, we just passed 100,000 subscribers. Yeah. Number 2, we are going to the playoffs with the Chicago Bears. Packers this weekend. So right now, CHGO has a very special offer. It is the Bears playoff season offer to become a diehard right now for only $36. Intro offer. Check out that Iceman t-shirt right there. If you head to allchgo.com right now, you can sign up for a $36 1-year intro offer, which means a free t-shirt, access to our Discord lounge. You can check out all of our wonderful articles written by Adam Johns, Patrick Norton, Jared Willis, Will Gottlieb with the Bulls. It's behind the scenes access that you've never had before, and it's only $36 for 1 year, which is basically what? $3 a month, if that, plus that free t-shirt. Get your Iceman now, man. Get it now. It's going to be a fun month of January. So please go ahead and check that out. And you could also scan the QR code below there if you would like. Luke, we were talking a little bit about Boras. I want to hear your Jabba Chamberlain story, but also answer your own question, my friend. Would you want a Scott Boras type representing you if you were an athlete?
No, because I can't. First of all, I don't know that he actually gets more money for his clients than another agent would.
Right.
Okay, so I don't know that. If he can show me the numbers and say this guy would have gotten you this and this guy would have, I don't know how you do that. So for me, it would have to be more of a personal fit. And I'm with Justin in that I think the putting himself in the spotlight, some guys would like that he kind of puts himself out there and lets the player kind of hide in the back and not even know who he is. But I think as I would want an agent that had less frying pans on the stove, if you would.
More
I think
Jerry
that would be the
Maguire,
biggest thing. Like,
Jerry Maguire, right? Some more personal attention, right?
yeah, with a little
Yeah,
more,
yeah.
show me the money, yes,
Absolutely. And
but then do a little dance for me
Less
too. A little
kindness,
pressure.
more attention.
That's a good point because, if he's got like 3 other left-handed pitchers besides me, like he's got his stable's so big. And listen,
How hard
he's
he
trying to
works.
make as much money as he can, but ultimately, yeah, you kind of want that personal attention. You kind of want to fit in somebody's roster where there's no competition internally, all those kind of things, right? One more thing I want to say about Scott Boras. I really, really, really grew a hatred for him because I know Chris Bryant's body failed him the past few years. But once he signed that deal with Colorado, I hated that for Boras, and I hated that mainly for Chris Bryant because, listen, I don't know for a fact if Chris Bryant wanted his rest of his life to be in Denver, Colorado. I'm not sure about that, but I will say this: as a casual baseball fan, there was no way in the world that Colorado was set up to win in the foreseeable future when you had the Dodgers and the Padres and the Giants. So when Chris Bryant finally got that big old contract and went to Colorado to die, basically, I was so turned off because I felt like that was more of a Boras thing. Like, we got to get the big deal. We got to get the big deal. This is the bigger deal. I lost respect for both those guys because it was just a horrible place for Chris Bryant to go minus making money. And I hated that.
That's a really good example because that's a grass is greener, right, Luke? Where if you want to believe some of the talk and some of the rumors is that the Cubs a year or two prior, I believe it was maybe 2017 or 2018, offered Chris Bryant a fairly similar deal, I believe in the 180, 190. Some even believe it was in the 200 range. And we'll never know, right, if an agent like Scott Boras said, we are shredding that contract right now because I promise you, you're going to get 250, 260, 270. You could be a $300 million player. And maybe Chris Bryant said, look, I guess I just need to trust my agent, or maybe if I just keep playing, maybe the Cubs will come correct. At the end of the day, it feels like in this particular case with Chris Bryant, he ended up getting the exact same money, to your point, in a situation that was foreign to him, that, and we'll never know what the injury history, right? But you would like to think that if you put a $185 million contract with the Cubs and a Colorado Rocky contract for $185 million, Chris Bryant takes the Cubs contract 11 times out of 10, Luke.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I know. It's weird how it all unfolds, and it's I'm never going to say a player shouldn't have this agent or a player shouldn't wait for the most money they can get if that's what they want. Like, we're all professionals trying to make money. Like, that's the reality of it. Like, the thing that makes baseball a little bit different is a lot of these players are set long before they get to that first contract. We were talking about Cashner. Cashner's set. He's set. So it makes the decisions slightly different as you move forward. Real quick, the Jabba Chamberlain thing.
Yeah.
So when I worked in Lincoln, Nebraska, I had to shoot and, edit all my own highlights for my sportscast on the local CBS station. And I lived in Lincoln, so we covered all the Nebraska sports teams and high school stuff too. Anytime I went to a sporting event, high school or anything at Nebraska, there was always a man in a wheelchair. And this man in the wheelchair would have his access for watching the games right next to where I would always set up my tripod to shoot the highlights for the sportscast. So if I was at a Lincoln Northeast high school basketball game, this guy was there in his wheelchair right next to me. If I was at a Nebraska baseball game shooting highlights and I was standing on the dugout, this man would be sitting right next to me and chatting me up the whole time. I mean, the whole time, from the second I would arrive to the second I would leave. And he was always talking about his son, who was in middle school. And the son was the ball boy for one of the local high school teams on the basketball. He was like an 8th grader ball boy for the high school basketball team. And he was always at every Husker game, no matter what sport. This young man, when I would arrive, I would always say, hey, can you go up and get me a scorecard that says all the players' names and numbers? Because if they were playing Oklahoma State, I don't know who the first baseman is for. So I would have to know that when I was doing the sportscast. Or in high school, I don't know all the high school kids' names. So I would have to know, oh, look, number 12 is Tommy Smith from wherever. Every game I ever went to, this boy and his dad would be at a game, and they would go. The boy would go get me my little card, my rosters, high school football, no matter what. The little boy was Jabba Chamberlain.
Wow.
And the way I found out he was a major league pitcher or going to be a major league pitcher was, I believe it was around when the Cubs, gosh, it must have been close to like 2003. I think I was like still living in Texas, maybe 2000. I think it was 2003, and it was the playoffs, and the College World Series was going on at the same time. And I flipped over, and Nebraska was in the College World Series, and this kid named Jabba was pitching, and I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" All this dad would talk about, Harlan, all he would talk about was his son. You got to see Jabba. I'm like, yeah, Harlan, he's in the 7th grade. Can we, can you quiet down so I can get the highlights? Sure enough, this kid became a Major League Baseball pitcher. He's on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Was a really good pitcher. He's probably my favorite hidden story in all of my sports career. That this kid that used to go get me rosters, and his dad, who had polio at a young age and was in a wheelchair for the rest of his life, would brag about him. And sure enough, if I didn't then once go over to the South Side, and the Yankees were there, and I walked into the clubhouse, and his eyes were like, and I was like, yeah, we're both here. Isn't that crazy? When he said that about Boras, I was like, that's right. Not everybody fits with Boras. That's okay.
Yeah. That's a cool story, man. Thanks for sharing that. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a fun story, especially when a little kid just turns into a giant hulking person later in life.
Let me put it this way. In a million years, I never guessed he was going to be an athlete. He was not like some cut superstar 8th grade kid where I was like, oh man, he does look like a good athlete. Right. He was just the kid that went up, got the rosters, came down, said hi, Luke, and then sat with his dad and watched sports.
That's cool. He remembered you years later. That's really cool. That
and he's a part of a Yankees pantheon of, you know what I mean? He's a part of the legend. He's not a legendary Yankee, right? But I guarantee you, Yankees fans would win the trivia question, or if they were playing beer money, they would get the Jabba Chamberlain question correct. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, which lights out pitcher had gnats all over his face in Cleveland?
Sarah, let's get a Toyota Super Chat from Born to Run. I liked that comment a whole lot. The Cubs front office has totally taken away the joy of being a Cubs fan. I'll get excited again when they do something significant. We hear you. We understand you. We're asking you to also, maybe hold tight, right? Like Justin, I think you're very much, you're going to wait until spring training before you blow your top.
Yep.
I'm putting weights on top of my head so the top doesn't fly off.
You know who else feels the exact same way as Born to Run and everyone else who's complaining? Yankee fans. I mean, it's not just the Cubs. Like a lot of teams right now, a lot of their fan bases are like, make a move. And I think the bigger problem is just MLB free agency. I mean, it's one of those things where there's time left. I mean, we're talking about some serious power when you talk about Bregman, Tucker, Bellinger, Bichette, Suarez. There's still a lot of guys out there. So it's not only the Cubs fan base that's getting impatient. We saw the Yankees. I mean, they're very parallel to us. Their fan base is going and listen, mind you, Chicago fans are crazy. Yankee fans are even more crazy. So trust me, this is not a Chicago-centric thing, but it can all be put away with a signing or two, right?
Yeah, and both owners, Luke, both have their own networks where they have a paywall where the teams where you have to pay to watch the team solely and specifically. Both owners have also been fairly public about some of the not just the spending, but just at the rate and the proportion that other teams spend and why it's a little bit out of whack. And both of them are both kind of push the narrative a little bit of, we're not making as much money as you think. And some people take that with skepticism. Other people take that into heart of maybe that's what's really broken about the system and why they're heading towards a lockout. Let's take a break here. Our final break of the show. On the other side, Luke, we're going to get into our New Year's resolutions. We're definitely we're going to do our Stuck With Me. We're going to do the Rizzo trade anniversary. I do want to ask you really quick. I want to do just a little bit of Bo Bichette. I want people to jump in the chat too as well. 27-year-old player still out there on the market. I get it. The defense isn't great, but outside of the defense, is there really anything else that should have the Cubs be disinterested in this player? He seems to solve a lot of issues that we're talking about when we're in terms of today, tomorrow, this weekend, next year, all that good stuff. So let's take a quick break here on the CHGO Cubs podcast to hear from some of our wonderful partners. Today's episode is presented by Toyota. Let's go places. But let's first take a break, and we'll be right back.
Hey folks, winter is here. Is your home's heating up for the challenge? In fact, we get most of our snow and really nasty weather after New Year's Day, so buckle up. Now's the time to schedule your Four Seasons furnace tune-up. Thinking about the whole home generator, they got you covered there too. At Four Seasons, they guarantee same-day installation for all your heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical, and generator needs with no extra charge for nights, weekends, or holidays. Save up to $4,000 on furnaces and comfort systems with Four Seasons heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electric. Furnaces start at $39 a month and furnace AC combos at $57 a month. If you call today, you can save $50 from your trusted local experts. That's Four Seasons heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electric. They've been serving the area for over 50 years. We are sponsored by Four Seasons, your trusted local experts. Visit fourseasonsheatingcooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. That's fourseasonsheatingcooling.com. Like I say, don't get left out in the cold.
And Luke, you know that moment in the near future. You're at spring training. The sun is out. Tyler Austin hits 5 home runs in one game. You get back to your hotel or maybe your house, and then you realize, oh my God, I just left my favorite sunglasses at the park, or maybe you left them at the beach or on the roof of your car or at a gas station 3 states away. Been there before, done that, but no more, because then we found Shady Rays and it changed the game. The sunglasses that are made for real life. They are seriously good looking. They're polarized, they're durable, and they're not stupidly expensive. Here's the wild part. If you lose them like me, or even break them on day one, Shady Rays will send you a brand new pair. No guilt trip, just replacements. So now I can actually wear my sunglasses and watch Tyler Austin, baby, in style on hikes, concerts, boats, whatever it is. Shady Rays is the eyewear that has your back. So we've teamed up with Shady Rays to bring you an exclusive offer. ShadyRays.com. Enter the code CHGO for 35% off polarized sunglasses. The sunglasses rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Coming back on the CHGO Cubs podcast presented by Toyota, let's go places. Really cool chat today. It's good to see a lot of the regulars in here, like Vince Perez, Ron S. Shout out to you guys, but also Small Ball Queen.
Yeah,
I haven't seen her in here a lot, but please come on back anytime.
And by the way, she has an awesome avatar. Like that's a really cool, like animated her playing baseball, whatever. Like that's a really cool. Is that what you call it, avatar? Avatar.
Yeah,
right?
That's what it looks like.
Profile
yeah,
pic, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Profile pic. All right. What is an avatar then?
Yeah, PFP. Little PFP.
Whatever. It's really cool. So
go.
welcome,
Okay.
Small Ball Queen. Hope you stick around for days and weeks and months to come.
Yeah, and Born to Run, thank you so much for that Toyota super chat a little bit earlier too as well. Yeah, Luke, I just want to get your take a little bit on when we talk about Bo Bichette now. The Bregman thing, it seems like that the numbers, if it's 160, 170, all of a sudden now we're like, I don't know if the Cubs are going to pony up for a guy like Bregman who's 32 years old. Bo Bichette, however, is 27 years old. Mm-hmm. Bo Bichette, however, in my opinion, is a superior offensive player right now in his prime. You've done a lot of you've brought a lot of insights and perspectives about the damage that he does on fastballs. Mm-hmm. Does the defense aspect bother you enough, like it bothers some Cubs fans, that maybe now we shouldn't pivot over to a Bo Bichette? Wouldn't a Bo Bichette solve a lot of the kind of issues and problems about the Cubs here, now, and tomorrow and next year?
What's the Cubs' identity moving forward in 2026? That's a question they've got to answer this offseason, right? Like they need to identify what are we going to hang our hat on every single day when we go to the ballpark? Is it going to be pitching? Is it going to be hitting? Is it going to be fundamentals? Is it going to be clout? Right? Like or is it just going to be a well-rounded team, which seems like a cop-out for any team to say that. But we know that last year, defense was where they wanted to hang their hat. It's one thing they wanted to be absolutely the best at. And it's pretty easy to do that when you have PCA up the middle with Dansby and Nico there, and then hopefully a catcher that's calling a good game, more importantly than necessarily hitting 25 bombs for you. Now, they got a little lucky with the home run production, but they're looking for someone that's up the middle. They want to be really, really good defensively. So my thing with Bichette is this. even though 3 years ago, the Blue Jays didn't make the playoffs and they had a bad year. And we were saying on this podcast, listen, let's do Magic Wand Monday. If I can target a team out there right now that has to mix it up, it's the Blue Jays. I said, they got to trade somebody. They're going to have to get bold or they're going to have the same result every year. Now, I was clearly, obviously wrong. They didn't have to do that. They stuck with it, and then they got to the World Series. But I was saying, like, how many years in a row are we going to say, oh, this is the year the Blue Jays get to the World Series, and they don't get there, they don't get there, they don't get there. And I said, they should trade Bichette or Guerrero. Just go for it before it gets too late. Get something of great value before one of these guys walks. Now, they ended up keeping both, and now they may lose Bichette. I'm all for adding a guy like Bo Bichette to the Cubs. The question is, where are you playing him, and how does it impact your identity? If your identity is defense, then Bo Bichette's not necessarily your guy. But one of my favorite second basemen that the Cubs had playing after Rhino was Mark DeRosa. And Mark DeRosa was not a superstar defensive player, but he did some of the other things, and he got some big hits, and he gave you a little pop, and I love D-Ro. So could Bichette be that type of player? Could he play a couple of different positions just like DeRosa did? Maybe. Yeah, maybe. It's how much do you want to give that guy? Now, they didn't make a major investment when they went out and signed Mark DeRosa back in the day. But does that player have value? Yes. But is your identity still going to be almost all we're hanging our hat on defense and pitching? I don't know. I guess that's a question for Jed Hoyer. Is that the identity of this team, or are you just going to try and pivot a little bit this offseason? Because signing Bichette seems like more of a pivot.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm all for, stacking the best players possible. And there's no doubt Bo Bichette is a very, very good offensive player. And I think that it's one of those things where at the age of 27, he fits this team better than Alex Bregman does. Now, Bregman, I think, gives you more power, but think about it. He's 27 years old.
Better defense.
Yeah, for sure. But he's 27 years old. He can pair up with the PCAs and with the Shaws and with the Hortons and with the Michael Bushes. That core, that new core, can kind of grow together. We have a Toyota Super Chat where Ryan Grossnickel sign Bichette to play third base this season. Shaw will be depth, and Bo can play second if the Cubs don't sign Nico. Don't forget, there's a lot of smoke out there about the Cubs maybe shopping Nico where it comes trading wise, right? So, maybe Bo Bichette is in their plans where you're trading Nico Horner. I don't know, but listen, sign me up for a 27-year-old offensive force, and I just think you figure it out once you get the player.
I'm asking myself the question when it comes to Bo Bichette's defense: how bad can it be? Yeah, right. I am. We've had Kyle Schwarber
say bad, but that's a shortstop. He's not going to play shortstop for the Cubs.
Exactly. And here's the thing, right? Is I understand the knock on him in the scouting report is that he doesn't have the athleticism to play shortstop, and they have some concerns about his athleticism in the infield moving forward.
Right.
If you want to keep it really simple and fundamental, shortstops typically can play any position on the field.
Right.
Technically, right? So if we've lived through Chris Morel, and if we've lived through Kyle Schwarber, I would like to see him play at third base or even second base. Hell, he can maybe be your left fielder in 2027 if it's really that bad. The fact that his defense is a deficiency almost provides a versatility for the Cubs that I don't know if they've had recently. And I'm a big believer in, just because you have someone at a position, I don't automatically pencil that person in for 500 at bats, right? Like with Mo Baller, he doesn't have to play every single day. You can fit Bo Bichette at DH for a couple days here and there. You could have him at second base and move Nico over to short while Matt Shaw plays third base. You can have different lineups and different configurations. I like the players, and I think that they're leaders and veterans, but Ian Happ and Dansby Swanson don't automatically qualify for 162 game seasons. I would like for them once or twice a month or every once in a while, get a blow out there, right? And that's where I think the versatility and depth can be an advantage for the Cubs. Like if you keep Owen Casey, you can also play him in left field. He isn't just a right fielder. So the Bo Bichette is bad at defense. We can't touch him with a 10-foot pole thing. I understand it because it is a concern. I just reject it as a total premise that we can't even entertain signing a guy that at 27 years old, if you're telling me that your offensive core for maybe the next 3 years is PCA, Michael Bush, and Bo Bichette, and they're all in their late to mid-20s, that's not a bad start, Luke. That's not a bad place to build a competitive team around.
It's funny what we make excuses for, right? Because everybody that wants, and I'm not saying this is right or wrong, but everybody that wants to see Mo Baller be the DH and be the future of the Cubs offense, they all say, well, he can be the DH. It doesn't matter that he can't play a position. It doesn't matter that he's not good at defense. He can hit. He can hit like crazy. Well, what about Bo Bichette, who's already shown you he can hit at the major league level? And by the way, he can not only be your DH in the future if you want him to, he might be able to be a corner outfielder. He might be able to play some short. He might be able to play some third base. He might be able to play some second base. You can't say any of those things about Mo Baller. Now, I'm not saying Mo Baller is not the future or the right choice. I'm just saying we can't talk out one side of our mouth and on the other side give another guy a different set of rules. Bo Bichette can hit major league pitching. He can hit fastballs. Maybe Mo Baller can too. But don't say Bo Bichette's not a good player because he can't play shortstop to the level you want to see it. He's not going to play shortstop on this team.
Right.
Okay?
And honestly,
how does he fit the team? What can he do for the team? The guy can hit.
Yes.
Okay? He can hit. And he might be able to play multiple positions at an adequate level. Right now, that's more than we can say about Mo Baller. And I don't really want the Cubs to pigeonhole a guy for the next 5 years, whoever it might be, whether it's Casey, whether it's Mo Baller, whether it's Bichette, whether it's Seiya Suzuki. I don't really want to say right now, this guy is my DH for the next 5 years.
Right.
Why?
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys that could be DH. I don't know that you need the same DH every single game.
Right. And Luke, you had said earlier about this team was the identity of this team was defense, and you had PCA, you had Dansby, you had Nico, and then the catching unit pretty good as well. But there's also a guy in left field, Ian Happ, Gold Glover. You have a guy at first base, Michael Bush, who I think could be a Gold Glover. Matt Shaw showed elite defense. Like not everybody who's going to play in the field is going to be a Gold Glover. So someone like Bo Bichette, I don't care if he's not a Gold Glover. We have a plethora of them around him. He can hit. That's what we need at Wrigley Field. And he's 27 years old. Again, I think he's a better fit than Alex Bregman. I'd be happy with either one of them. But I think 27 years old to pair up with these young studs we have, moving forward, it's a bright future.
Yeah, and it provides you the type of flexibility to make some decisions on your corner outfielders that are coming up on contract. Yeah. It can afford you the ability to do a lot of different things. And I would have a pretty good feeling. We've done it before, Luke, but the Bo knows mantra
Yes.
in the 120 club in left field. Like I see a future there, right? I think he could be a popular player at Wrigley. And that's something that I don't think the Cubs would wag their finger at all.
That right there,
I think Nike might wag their finger at it, but who cares?
But that right there is incentive for Ricketts to sign him. Think about the marketing money he could make on the Bo Knows campaign. I mean, just all over. Like he could bank on that. And
we're already printing the shirts here at CHGO. I'm here for the Bo Bombs. Here for the Bo Bombs.
Bo Bombs. Before we move forward, Luke, I messed up yesterday because what I wanted to do yesterday.
It was your fault.
It is my fault. And really, it's kind of your fault too because we were welcoming you back so grand that I forgot to do this. Over the weekend, it was our guy Joey's birthday.
Oh, you want
and I wanted Monday to be about Joey's birthday, and I messed up. But you know what? I get a redo here. And before the show is over, all of us here at CHGO want to say happy birthday to Joey. He's like the Swiss Army knife of this company. He could do anything and everything. So 35 years old, looking good, dude.
Yes, baby. My Frank Thomas here.
Joey.
Joey is a combo of Mark DeRosa meets Ben Zobrist.
Yes.
Oh, he is. What a compliment.
And because he looks like Ryan Dempster, we throw in a little Ryan Dempster. It's like if those three were morphed into one person, he would be Joey Christopoulos.
Yes.
Appreciate you guys. Very grateful to be at this company and do the show with both of you. And also, I had a great weekend. Had an awesome weekend with my wife.
What'd you do for your birthday?
My birthday went to Hackney's for a Hackney's burger with my family, my mom, my dad, and my godfather.
Cool. The one in Glenview?
The one at Harms, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
The OG one. Yeah, and then Came back. I'm in the middle of rewatching The Last Dance for the 10,000th time. So I watched episode 4 of that.
Nice.
And then went to the Bulls game. First time I'd been in the UC in over 15 years. With my wife. She had never been to the UC before.
Oh, wow.
So I never been in the indoor atrium where the Jordan statue
Oh,
is.
yeah,
Cool.
where the statue's been moved.
Never even did that before. And had just like the best time. Had an Italian beef at Giordano's.
Nice.
We got a little barbecue pork, nachos and stuff. Then the ball went in the air and the Bulls sucked. But all in all, it was a great evening. Heard from some great people and friends, which is half of it for me. Like, I don't even really care about like what I do. It's about like who I'm around and who I hear from. That's what birthdays mean to me, and that's what was important to me.
So Luke, we had done a show on Friday. You were still sick. We had done a show on Friday, me and Joey. And I was thinking nothing about it. Oh, we're doing this show, whatever. Hoping we're going to sign somebody. We didn't. And then I'm at home that night, like after midnight, and I'm on Instagram, and I see Joey's wife do this beautiful post about Joey's birthday. And I'm still thinking it's Friday. I'm like, oh my God, did we do a whole show on his birthday? And I didn't mention it at all. But my only saving grace was it was after midnight. So she did it for Saturday. So I didn't see him on Saturday. I did text him. Actually, I texted you like 12,
you did. You were
12:30.
Justin, one of the first people I heard from at 12 o'clock. It was great.
But yeah, I wanted to make sure we didn't finish the show here without saying happy birthday to Joey. It's been an absolute blast being with both of you guys. But you are the Swiss Army knife that makes it all go.
So real quick. I want it from each of you, and Sarah, if you want to do it too. When it is your birthday, are you a guy that drops it in the days ahead? Are you a guy that kind of just like lets it pass, or are you the person that goes like, "Boom, it's my birthday"? You know what I mean? And like, how do you like to let people know? Because people, no one knows.
I like that. First of all, I would like to say that I have no blame in this, and it was all Justin's fault because I was hopped up on a lot of meds. So it's not my fault at all. Okay. Then when it comes to my birthday, which is coming up March 6th, by the way, we're exactly 2 months away today from 54. I would like to remind you guys that, a lot of people, when they hit 50, they say, listen, I don't even want to talk about my birthday. I want you guys to know that it's okay if you want to shower me with lavish gifts. If that's what you would like to do, that's okay with me. If you guys want to bring me expensive, lavish gifts that other people will be jealous of, I'm okay. And the date is March 6th.
Okay. All right. Well, since we're doing that and putting it out there, my birthday is on May 17th. I share a birthday with Jordan Knight from New Kids on the Block and George Bush.
Joey, who was born on your birthday? Who's your famous birthday person?
So, old Bears receiver Wendell Davis was the one growing up for many years.
I like you.
And then it was cool for a really long time, and it hasn't been cool for a little while. It's a complicated character. I share it with Mel Gibson.
Okay.
Now, is this you're talking about for some of these guys? Wendell Davis, are you talking the same exact date, or just the date? The day is the same.
Oh, the date.
You know what I'm saying? Like, were you guys born on the same exact day in history?
No. Oh, but I also I share a birthday with Kevin Foster, the old Cubs pitcher who was also born at Evanston Hospital, the same hospital that I was born at, but it was a different. He's a couple years older.
Kevin Foster. That's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Kevin Foster.
Yeah, he served up some taters back in the 90s. That's for sure.
You know who was born on my day in history? Same exact day in history. March 6, 1972. And I share a lot in common with him. Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq and I are exactly the same age.
Luke and Shaq.
It's a striking resemblance.
I did say to him once, hey, we share the birthday. And he's like, cool. And I'm like, no, we were born on the exact same day. And he's like, separated at birth. That's all I got.
I love it.
Love to hear it, Stucky.
I love it.
Small ball queen, my famous birthday twin is the Captain James Tiberius Kirk. That's a good one. That's a good one.
She wrote also, I never point out that my birthday is March 22nd. March 22nd is so far away. March 22nd. I love how people in the chat right now are just,
queen.
Hey, put it out there. You never know. You never know.
Again, lavish gifts, even from strangers.
Yeah, absolutely. Birthdays are. Wait. Are you loud and proud on your birthday, or do you just kind of like cool about it?
No, I mean I, as you get older, like my wife is 30 years old and she loves birthdays. She's like a birthday queen, right? Like she wants to do it big. I'd rather like celebrate her or like, okay, my son's birthday is 2 days after mine. So I'm May 17th. He's May 19th.
Oh.
So like normally we do like a weekend, and I'd rather be all about him. You know, I don't really need a really funny story actually, then we'll go back into baseball, is that I was hoping my son was going to be born on my birthday on May 17th, right? He was due like weeks later, but I was like kind of hoping like May 17th. Went to the Cubs game that year in 2014 on my birthday, you know, celebrating. And I was praying that his mother then was going to have her water break at Wrigley Field. And then we go to the hospital, like great story. Didn't happen, but it did break the next day. So like I thought, oh, 1 day away, ended up being 2 days away, but I was really hoping that me and my son would share a birthday at Wrigley Field. Yeah, that'd be crazy.
A little organ music playing while she's in labor. There's nothing wrong with that.
All right. Anyway,
all right, Luke. Dealer's choice for the final 10 minutes here. We want to talk Rizzo trade anniversary or New Year's resolution. Stuck with me, Crystal Ball, and just in time, or do we think we can do them both?
I'll do my, we'll still get in the Rizzo stuff. I want to do my New Year's resolution that I haven't done yet.
Let's do it.
And it's two. I have two of them. The first is, if the Bears go to the Super Bowl, I promise to remind myself daily with the affirmation that anything can happen. Right. Okay? So all the negativity that I bring sometimes, if the Bears go to the Super Bowl this year, I will say to myself, that's it. Anything could happen in Cubs season. Okay. And I will double down on that if Jed does land a bargain star and a solid starter still, with all this going on where we're sitting here January 6th and nothing happens, if he's still able to accomplish the things we've asked him to do and get it at the best price, then I will not doubt him for the rest of 2026.
I like that.
I will not doubt anything else he does. Any other move, any trade deadline, move or not move, I won't. If he can still accomplish those two things between January 6th and the start of the season, then I won't doubt him the rest of the offseason.
I like that.
Or season.
You want a piece?
Yeah, I'll piggyback that. So I was trying to think of mine as well, but Luke, you kind of sparked something in me. You know, trust me, I read the chat. We're over here. We got this big screen. I read the chat and everything. I have been accused of kind of being a Cubs apologetic. I've been accused of making excuses for Jed Hoyer and Tom Ricketts. And that is not, I'm not doing that. What I am saying is that there is still time to have a great offseason and to be a better team than we were last year. But if this basically is the team that is the opening day roster of 2026, I promise my resolution is I will no longer give this front office the benefit of the doubt. And I myself will actually be more negative and cynical when it comes to this, because I am the optimist here. I really am, because I truly believe we are going to sign somebody significant and or trade for a great arm. So if those things don't happen, and again, this is the team that takes the field, you know, at the April or whatever, I promise no longer will I give this front office the benefit of the doubt, and I will be more negative and cynical, if you will, and my optimistic eyes will be shut.
I love it. Justin's promising to be more negative in 2026.
I was going to say, I love that New Year's resolution.
Yeah, because
I don't even need to promise that. People just know it.
Well, I'm not negative. I'm optimistic by nature, but my point is I feel that strongly that this offseason is not over yet, and we still have time to make significant upgrades.
Well, I was just thinking, it's a side note real quick. That reminds my brother is not a big drinker at all. Okay. He's a very active person, and his resolution this year was to drink more because he doesn't drink and he wants to drink more. It won't happen though. He always says that. And so that reminded me of that. You're like, I'll be more negative. You're not negative, but you want to be.
Yeah. I like that. It's funny. All right, Joey.
All right. So mine is one that I'm probably ultimately already completely failing at. But I think the idea is to continuously try and, trust might not be the right word, but just try and continue to walk the path through the journey, like a long baseball season, development of a young player. And I think maybe that can apply a little bit to this off season where, man, I wish that they had done something by now, but Justin, to your point, they still can, they still can improve this team by spring training. I think if they don't add another starting pitcher or an impact bat, I think we're going to have a lot of criticisms. But here's the thing is that once spring training starts and once opening day starts, whoever's on that team, I'm going to try and wrap my head around and figure out a way where they can win on a daily basis. Do I believe that that is going to happen every single day? No, but again, when we talk about Matt Shaw, when we see the development of PCA, when we see the ascendance of Michael Bush, when we see what ups and downs Cade Horton could go through next year, Moises Ballesteros, Owen Casey, I want to have the resolution of being objective in the moment of whether someone had a good day or a bad day at the plate, but on a macro level, understand that development is key and necessary for some of these players. And the one word that I want to use when it comes to trust is I do trust Craig Counsell and the pitching staff a little bit when it comes to bringing some of these guys along. And it's not immediate microwave results, but we've seen it with guys that have struggled at the major league level. They've made adjustments. Sometimes it goes to the minors. Sometimes it's sitting guys down. But we have seen results from some of these younger players under Craig Counsell that he's provided a stable support system that allows them to work through issues and come out on the other side and maybe become good baseball players and maybe PCA's case, a superstar player. So, you know, when I'm hopefully getting the opportunity, we all get the opportunity to work this season with you, Luke, on a day-to-day basis. I want to try and remember it. And as a Cubs fan, that the journey is very long and you can be upset at the result for today, but there's always tomorrow. And then you look at things from a week, a month, and then the totality of a season. And it's important to try and keep those two perspectives balanced throughout a long year. And to this point, through a frustrating offseason, I think that might come in handy more than ever right now about just walking the path and hopefully we getting to a place where this team can win 90-plus games again.
Yeah, which at the timing of it is unfortunate because they had built so much momentum. It doesn't mean they can't regain it, but they had built so much momentum by getting to the postseason, winning a round, and then just running out of gas for one game against the Brewers, right? So we'll see how it moves forward. I promise to also be more charming and good looking in 2026.
Not possible, Luke. Come on.
I'll try to do it.
Not only is today Joey's birthday, but it's the anniversary of a very important trade in Cubs history, isn't it?
Yeah, right. January 6th, 2012, Luke. Anthony Rizzo, a young bat-waggling hitter from the San Diego Padres, previously the Boston Red Sox, comes over to the Chicago Cubs for Andrew Kashner, who at the time was one of our prized top pitching prospects. And lo and behold, Anthony Rizzo becomes perhaps one of the greatest Cubs of my lifetime. Yeah. He's top five, maybe Mount Rushmore, probably get a statue one day, but a really cool day in Cubs history.
Don't forget the Cubs also acquired Zach Cates in that trade. I wasn't super. When I heard it, I thought to myself, wow, they're going all in. They're trading. I have to trust Theo because that was his first really big move was trading his top pitching prospect. And I don't know if we still have that same faith in the front office that we did, but I will offer you this. While I said yesterday, don't trade Jackson Wiggins, just remember, the Cubs traded their top pitching prospect. He wasn't even a prospect. He was already a major leaguer. And what they got back turned out to be a great deal. And the same thing I said about people that didn't want to trade Jackson Ferris for Michael Bush. You got to see how it's going to unfold. It could break your heart, but it could also turn out to be one of those great moments.
Absolutely.
Don't be afraid.
Ultimately, I do think that Rizzo's on your Mount Rushmore. I mean, I think he's just because we were starving for a World Series for so long, and he was kind of the face of that team and the captain of that team. So for me, I think that there's no doubt. I think that Anthony Rizzo is on the Mount Rushmore, and honestly, one of the greatest trades of all time because of that reason. Like he was the core and the center of that team that finally won the World Series for us. So I mean, one of the great Cubs of all time, but also one of the best trades we've ever had.
Yeah, now he's back in the organization, and it's awesome. The first thing that I remember about the trade was that Theo got one of his Boston guys back, and Hoyer had the connection to the Padres, and it was like there was a line there that said, "I know this guy, I like this guy, let's bring him in."
They wanted him,
and then and it's a great instructive case where he didn't pop right away. So I know when we're giving Matt Shaw a hard time, and towards the end of 2024 with PCA, like these guys take a minute, these guys take a while. It all doesn't happen at the exact same time for everybody. And Anthony Rizzo became an incredibly stable incredible Cub that led us to a World Series, that was a leader, that stood up on the dugout with the Cincinnati Reds when the Cubs sucked and says, we're not going to be the doormat anymore. Yeah. Bad ankle, tape it up, hit a home run. You need me to lead off for a week? Let's do it. Yeah. Rock and roll. Yeah. 30 home runs, 100 RBIs every single year. Absolutely great Cub. And I'm guessing he's going to be at the Cubs convention in about 10 days.
Yeah, let me add one more thing, too, is that I actually was friends with him for quite a while and just one of the all-time great guys. I mean, everything you think about Anthony Rizzo, it is true. He is a great, great person. Cancer survivor, as you guys know, a very, very charitable person, but just an all-time good person. I want people to know that, sometimes it is cool to meet your idols because he's better than advertised. It's a really good human being,
Yeah, play great. You play great baseball. You're a good athlete, and you take care of the people around you. Yeah. And his work with the Lurie's Children's Hospital. When you do that kind of stuff, Chicago will admire, love you, respect you, and honor you forever.
Absolutely.
And that's what the city of Chicago offers too. So, hey, Bichette, Alex Bregman, just saying. We got to get out of here. This was a Tuesday episode of CHGO Cubs presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Shout out to Sarah on the ones and twos, always doing an amazing job. Justin Roman, my guy here. Thanks for the birthday shout out, brother. I appreciate you, man. Luke, man, good to have you back in the fold. We're getting closer. The pitch count's getting up. You might see Luke in the studio sooner or later.
But stretching me out.
Yeah, but we'll be back. We'll be back tomorrow with one more episode for the week. Everyone have a wonderful day. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you tomorrow. And as Luke always says, whatever happens, remember, always fly the W.
We all silly like the mayor.